here's the thing. Most people will never stop long enough to ask themselves the questions that could set them free. I did, and what came out of me changed everything. This isn't just a conversation, it is a mirror, a mic drop, and a wake up call. If you're the woman who's been everything for everybody and nothing for yourself, pull up, come a little bit closer, tune in, because this one is definitely for you. You know why? Because I'm her. I'm you. We are divine reflections of one another. And let me tell you what's going to happen today. I'm Selena, known as the transformational teacher and disruptor coach. I am pulling up the chair and getting in my own seat so that I can interview myself. I am about more than 100 episodes in of interviews that I've done in other platforms. Over on this platform, I've done about 60 plus or so. You can figure that out. And I'm turning the table, right? I am I got time for everything except myself. I am recovering her. And so if that resonates with you, come on in the room. All right. So here we go. My first, and I don't know what I'm going to say. I let ChatGPT um, pull up questions for me. And my signature question that I always ask on the show is, how do you show up in the world? So I know that I'm going to start with that one. And this is going to just be the raw, honest truth. You and I having a conversation. Okay. And so I show up in the world. I am a connector. I liken myself to a bridge. If I know if I know someone or I know of someone and they're in need and they need help, then I'm going to connect them with whom I know that might be able to help. And a lot of times, the ways that that happens and shows up is I'll be having a conversation with someone. I could meet someone in the restroom or what have you, and I would have had a conversation maybe a day or two before, sometimes even that same day. And what happens is something comes up where I can use that information. So I'm a connector. I'm a healer. I've learned how to heal myself. I've helped others heal themselves. And that happened innately as well. I recall with my son, and I don't know how long this is going to go, y'all. Hey, we on YouTube, long form. So just if you ain't got nothing going on, come along for the ride. And my son, and being a mother that had no idea what I was doing and scared out of my mind, I would innately know things to do for him, to care for him, and not, just not normal things that they would just come to me, these downloads. I feel like it was the time that I was most spiritually in tune in my life. Like me and God had a thing going on for real, because raising him and being his mother, uh, it was one of the most wonderful things that ever happened to me in my life. And so I'm a healer. I'm also very much a teacher. I show up as a teacher. I show up even when I don't know that I'm showing up as a teacher. I have had people stop me that don't even know me. One time I was in a shoe store down in Florida when my son was graduating, and I was just in there shopping, and two women walked up and asked me if I was a teacher. And I had no idea where that came from. And that probably was about 15 years ago that happened. Um, People that have known me for a very, very long time, and I haven't seen them in a while. Something would come up and they were asking me if I was a teacher. And one person, I remember asking them, why? Why are you asking me that? Is it because of my glasses? Like, what's going on there? And then my best friend's son, who was like my son, came to visit me when I lived in Las Vegas, and he brought his children. I'm just grateful that he came to see me. That always warms my heart. And he said his daughter asked him if I was a teacher. And I asked her, why did you ask that? Why would you wonder if I'm a teacher? And she said, because you're Miss Selena, out of the mouths of babes. I have always, growing up, we did not call adults by their first name. And so when I was raising my son, he had to say Miss Daisy, Miss Ruby, whatever that name was. And people, by this time were allowing kids to call them by their first name. Well, I don't believe in that. And I still call adults when I meet them, even if they're a peer or what have you, they are Miss. Hey, my ideal client, she is Miss. I got time for everything except myself. And that's one of the reasons why. And so it never dawned on me because all of my son's friends call me Miss Selena. They do not get to call me by my first name without that Miss on it. And I'm actually Miss Selena, MRS, because I identify as a widow. I was widowed at the age of 23. My second husband died 7 months after we got married. And so it was quite a bit. So I show up as a widow. I show up as a divorcee. I show up as a single mother. And I'm certain that I've lived 4 lives at least so far. Um, and that centers around motherhood. It centers around grief, trauma, loss, and more than just one loss in so many ways. And so that stage of my seasons that I was in. And then there is um, when I lost myself and fully didn't even know who I was in that season. And what I found in that season of loss and trauma and seeking, I found that I needed me and me. And that's how I became the disruptor coach. I went in search of my own me. And at the time, I did not know it was a coach. And when I found her, I want to speak her name because she saved my life. She changed my life. And it sent me down a different path. And I've always like followed the path. I didn't grow up knowing who I would be who I wanted to be when I grew up. I didn't even think about my future at all. I only thought about um I don't think I thought about anything. I just lived each day, actually. I didn't think about the future. I didn't plan to save money. I didn't plan to have kids because honestly, I didn't want any children. I had no idea that I would be somebody's mama. Let me tell you that. And look at God. It's the best and the worst thing I feel like at times that happened to me because kids fill your heart and then they can break it all at the same time. I know I did that for my mama. Her and I lately have been having some conversations about how I shattered some things that she had so much high hopes for me. So I don't want to digress on that because I've got stories for days and a lifetime of life than most have had. Um, and yeah, so I show up in that way. I'm also show up as a food entrepreneur. I make my own gourmet sauce. I show up as uh, an entrepreneur. I have founded 4 businesses and currently in the midst of 2 of them that you're experiencing, disruptor coaching. So when I found my life coach, and let me just circle back to make sure I close the loop on that, and I realized that it was a profession, I realized that I had been showing up my entire life. What I believed at the time was as a coach, because I'm thinking, this is what I would do for free. So while I was going through, and this happened during the pandemic, going through my own life coaching and getting the support that I need and figuring out who I was, getting to know myself, getting to become myself, and then getting to be myself, I also realized my calling, because it was what I would do for free. And so I got certified as a holistic life coach by Yaya Smith of Feminine Success. And she was like the younger version of me. I could see myself in her, and fiery. She taught us holistic practices. She taught us how to care for ourselves. And I'm not going to remember everything, but the pillars were home, life, business, and relationships, I believe. And y'all drop in the chat now. I'm out here interviewing myself, so I am going to pull up, and class is just in session. So let me know what you want to hear. Um, all of the things and all that. So drop it in the chat. Let me know you're here, because yeah, this is new. And I want to have some fun. I want you to have some fun too if you've pulled up and you want to be part of the conversation. So let's do it. And how else do I show up? I show up as Richard's mama for sure. So that was definitely a lifetime uh, of one of the lives in us getting to know each other and birthing that human and shaping how he shows up in the world and who he is. And he is my life's greatest accomplishment. I stand 10 toes down on that all day, every day. And anybody knows me, know that's true. Now I'm not one of them my child can do no wrong kind of mamas, but I don't play about that one. Let's just say that. And he gets it if he ain't doing what he's supposed to do. All right. And so how else do I show up at the world? See, I'm layered, y'all. So it's not just one, it's not like a one and done and quick and all of that. And this is one of the reasons why I love being here over on YouTube, because we can take our time and I can take my time. So that's why I have a whole channel called DisruptHer Conversations, because we're going to get into it. And what I learned about that is the things that got me here were maintaining the status quo, showing up the way that I believed I was supposed to show up, because that's what the world put on me, from a very young age, I believe. And I just didn't know it. I was just acting it out unknowingly, like religious spaces, and what that dynamic looked like, all of the things. Okay. And so, yeah, it was a lot. Is there other ways that I show up? I'm a sister friend for sure. I've got a really beautiful circle of girlfriends that I've known since I was 13. And we still get together and hang out. Graduating class of 1985. I actually attended two high school, really three. And I claimed two of them. South High School, hey, hey, Flyers, where y'all at? And then Warrensville Heights High School. And I'm going to get in depth, right? Because this is my interview. I'm the host and I'm the guest. So we're going to go deep. Like I just said, I love having deep conversations. And so if you've got questions at anything that I say that pops up, let me know, because I've been holding it in and wanting to get it out. And I need to do it in a way that's comfortable for me. And part of that is by having a conversation. I have been flailing around on social media trying to figure it out for a while. And now I believe I found my rhythm. And one of the reasons I'm here too, I just need to tell on myself. My coach, we were having a conversation today. I'm gonna call her name into the circle too. Courtney Teasley, shout out. She is one of my Hello Seven coaching sisters. We went through the Hello Seven certification together. And she she asked me, because I've been toying and toiling is the probably a better word, not toying, but toiling over and pondering over for quite some time now that I've been in this coaching space. Like, who is it that I really serve? Who do I want to serve? Why do I want to serve her? And I never could, I came up with things, but they didn't fit. So I tried it. If you all remember, I showed up serving Christian women that had been impacted by narcissistic or toxic dynamics in their relationships, because that is what I had been through, and it was the closest thing to why I had lost myself and was starting to come out and show up and coach while still experiencing my trauma and healing at the same time. But I have always had this call to coach. And I recently had an aha moment actually on Saturday. I went to a business conference. The National Urban League Conference 2025 was here in my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio, and they hosted a Small Business Matters Enterprise Summit. And I got the pleasure to be able to go to that. And in one of the sessions, it was called Pitch Moves or Pitch Power. Forgive me if I get that wrong, but I can correct it and put the link down there below. Um, uh, my Zoom is taking notes, so put that as an action item for me. And I'm gonna give you some cheat codes, how I save time and what I'm doing and things like that, because the woman that I'm called to serve, Miss I got time for everything except myself. I know one of your biggest pain points is time, right? Having enough time for you, not just having time, but time for yourself, time to put you first, time to show up and do the things that you want to do. So I'm going to share with you and talk about how I do that as well. Because, like I said, class is in session. And so that is the other way I show up, right? I show up as a teacher. I'm always um, wanting to share what I have learned and call other people in to the know. I grew up having this knowing about others. And in that knowing, I could just see things about people, like know what they needed to hear, know what I needed to say to them to give them some hope, give them some direction, some clarity, how to move forward, to witness them, to know. I didn't know that all of this was happening at the time. I'm just telling you um, more because I know now. For them to feel seen and heard, I didn't know that at the time. And so that's what would happen. Then I later on in life got some more language when we did our Clifton Strengths. Worked with my best friend, Andrea, who I've been friends with since I was 13. Also, we met at Warrensville High School, and then we ended up working together for 16 and a half years at National City PNC Bank. And we ended up in the same team. We did great work for National City, standing up their disaster recovery and business continuity, or their business continuity and disaster recovery program, because disaster recovery is a part of business continuity. Sometimes I know I'm using words that others may or may not know. So that part of my brain wants to be like, hey, let's bring everybody in. Because you know me, I'm recovering, miss. I got time for everything except myself. And so when we did our Clifton Strengths, one of my top 5 strengths is probably number one is woo. And I don't remember all the definition of it. However, if you hear it, you probably can relate and believe that that's me. And so, uh, definitely, I feel like, am I on the right page? Let me just check something out and make sure I showed up in the right place. Because I think I'm over here having the conversation. Okay, I'm on the right YouTube, because that'll get crazy too. Two of my emails are close together. So help me come back in the circle if I veer off, because I can easily be distracted by shiny things. So hopefully some of this is helpful. Um, and one of the things that just crossed my heart is to text my cousin and tell her to kind of pop on. I believe that she would find some value from this as well. And so I am I'm going to take a minute to do that, as I would want somebody to do for me if they find something that I'm doing valuable, and share it with the person that could use it. Because y'all, we all know when you hear that, Miss I got time for everything except myself, we already, somebody pops in our head who that is, right? And so I show up as a teacher. I show up as a teacher for her. I show up as a teacher for my community. I show up as a teacher for my friends. I show up as a teacher for my family. I know, and that's why my cousin Angie comes to mind as I do this, because she believes that I can do anything. She says, whatever I put my mind to, she knows that I am going to do it and I'm going to get it done. She is my sister cousin. And um I love her for that. And and she is also Miss I got time for everything except myself. And I love her so much. And I've watched her go through so much pain and anguish, more than anybody deserves. And so, um, yeah, Angie, no matter what I'm doing, what I need, she's gonna drop it, what she's got going on, and she's gonna come see about me. And so I don't take that lightly. That is beautiful when you know you need somebody to show up for you. And that just took my breath away. Took my breath away for so many reasons, because I'm reflecting on how many times she has done that for me in so many different seasons. And yeah, that part. Okay. Let me focus so we can get back to the questions, because my life has layered, it has depth. So I can easily go deep on that. So how do I show up in the world? Yeah. And I show up as a teacher, and I had been that is really my identity, a teacher. And where I want to go with that is because I was showing up as an empowerment coach. I was showing up as a life coach. I was showing up as a business coach. I was showing up as a mindset coach. I was showing up as a money coach. And I'm still all of those things, because I am a certified coach in all of those things. At my core, and how I show up and how I truly serve, is I teach. I teach Miss I got time for everything except myself how to fish, how to take her life back, how to feel safe in her life and live her own life, because she's lived it for everyone except herself. And so I'm talking directly to you. This conversation is really for you. And I my hope is, through me and my life, that you get to see yourself, that you get to see that I am called to serve you, that you hear my voice and know that I'm the teacher for you. Because you probably don't need another coach. You don't need another program and all of that. You need teachings in a way that is going to allow you to fully be yourself and step into your essence. And I am here for it. That's what coaching and teaching did for me. And I lived and walked it, every truth, just like you are doing in your life. And so I want you to witness and see me also, right? That I'm human, and I'm going to be showing up here Probably all kind of ways because it depends on the day. It depends on the day because the other thing that I would say and that I want to say about this is I was also struggling because I know how sacred it is, the call on my life. And I know how sacred it is to be called to serve you. And so I know you need the safety. I know you need the trust. And so I felt like when I'm at not at my best and I don't have the energy and the capacity to do the things that I want to do showing up here, it's hard. And I don't want to mislead you down, a path because my energy is off. And energy is very, very important. Capacity is important. And we're gonna talk all about that because you need that also to show up in your own life for you, right? And so help me because I will lean in to you, honey, because I know what's required. I know the strength that it's going to take for you to get where you need to be because you ain't practiced these muscles at all. And that's why it took me this my life didn't change and me focusing on me till I was in my 50s. Honestly, like really focusing on me. I thought I was, but I wasn't because I was showing up at all the the church functions, volunteering for every community and activity and all of the things, right? So yeah. So that's how I show up. I also show up as a warrior, Warrior, because I I will fight for what I believe in. I will fight for who I believe in. I will fight with you. If you in a fight, I'm the dog you need in a fight at the same time too. So please trust and believe that I am not going to leave you out on anybody's limb by yourself. And I grew up that way. I used to beat up boys when me and my brother would be going to school, and I can remember as young as I was 7 because I was in the second grade, and some boy, um, was messing with my brother. I will get your whole life together with no problem. Now, thank God the Lord then curbed that, um, but don't get it twisted, okay? And so I want you to understand that because I know what is required. Because sometimes you aren't strong enough to do it for yourself. And so somebody got to hold your hand and hold you up for that to happen. Because I needed that too. I needed to be seen. I needed to fully be seen. That reminds me, last week, I think it was last week. So I've been in a struggle also with mental health, physical health challenges, chronic pain. And I was talking to, um, I don't even, what do I call Mother Joy? Mother Joy is such a lifeline. Um, she's a woman that I met in Sedona, one of my favorite places on earth. It's magical if you've ever been there. And this was right after going through the storm of my life and really I was raw. I was getting the life coaching at this time and um, my cousin, another cousin, Myra, and a girlfriend of mine, Madeline, I should text her too. And she we were hanging out in Sedona and she walked into the restaurant we were in. And she's the only Black woman that I had seen at this point, I think, while we were hanging out there. And we were 3 Black women sitting in the table. But what got my attention was her aura. It was just white and glowing. And I said, "Hey, are you here by yourself? Come sit with us." And I don't know what was going on, but the people in the restaurant started moving furniture and like I was like, well, who is she? Like, what is going on? Like, they moved heaven and earth to, and her food was already ready. They brought her plate. They sat her down at the table in front of me. I'm sitting here. She's sitting there across from me. My cousin Myra's sitting here. Natalie was sitting there. And and we just had a good old time. That sister started reading us for life. She told my cousin, I see you got your crystals out, all of that. But let me make a long story short, because I can go. She invited us back to her house the next day. Ultimately, what happened, and the moment I met her, I felt this connection that I'm going to like cover her. But honestly, she's been covering me. We get to her house the next day, and we go inside. They all go in first because I drove. We're in my car, and I have a habit when I go into people's houses, I take my shoes off because I have a lot of allergies, environmentally, the whole 9 yards. And I did not want. I don't like breathing the outside in the house, right? Because all kind of stuff on your shoes. And so I go inside, and when I go in, I just go right in, and I turn to go into the door. And it is there's this music playing. Michael Jackson, I'll never forget it. I don't remember the song. But it had to be one of my favorites. And when I turn around, I just dropped to my knees and started crying and crying because I had been in that house before. I knew everything in that house, like in proximity and everything. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm trying to get myself together because I had been praying that I would that reveal whatever is there for me when I go. And I had even brought a jar of sauce because I realized I was going to need to give it to somebody, that I had made my gourmet sauce, my all organic gourmet sauce, by the way. That's the food entrepreneur part. We didn't talk about that yet. And turns out, long story short, it was for her. I ended up spending, we got there about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't leave her house till 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, my cousin and my friend left, but I did not. I was still there. We was hanging out, having a good old time, and she'd been with me ever since. But the other day, I talked to her last week, and she said I kept saying the word, I don't remember, I don't remember, I don't remember. And so she called me to tell me about myself, that I was playing a dangerous game in saying that, because the mind is so powerful. And so it does not know the difference between whether something is true or not, right? It's taking in the information that we say, that that I was saying to myself, and that you probably say to yourself. And if you're not being kind to yourself, miss, I got time for everything and everybody. I want you to flip that. I want you to be thinking about that. I want you to reframe that. Like, how do you want others to talk to you and to show up? That's how I want you to start showing up and talking to yourself. Because you've got to witness your own self, right? And I had to learn that. I never fully talked bad to myself, but I was having some whole lot of interesting conversations, let me tell you. Um, and I don't want that for you. Okay. So I show up as a warrior, and that's a warrior part of me. And I hope that's what I was trying to say. So we're still on question one, because I'm layered, y'all. There's more, but we'll get to it. Okay. So what's the next question? I'm on question two now. It says, who is Selena? So these are questions around who I am. What's something people often misunderstood about you? Mm, I don't know. I'm not sure. I do know that sometimes people are intimidated by me, for whatever reason. I'm gonna just call it out, because we getting real here. This is my interview. I've had white women that I have worked with, or worked for, or worked in the same organization, that maybe I didn't even work with. I'm certain that they have been intimidated by me because I've heard things, I've seen things said, and things have happened, that absolutely make no sense. And I'm not sure why. Um, I also believe my tone sometimes may intimidate folks or make people believe that I'm probably angry or upset. And sometimes I probably am, and sometimes I'm not. I'm just excited, and I'm emotional and passionate about what I share. Because sometimes it's passion, but sometimes it's deeper than the passion, right? I'm like, because I'm a warrior and I'm in it. I'm in it. Um, and so um, let me see if there what's something people often misunderstand about you. I don't believe that I am misunderstood too often, though, um, of by people that look like me. Because what tends to happen is when I go into restrooms, like I said, people tell me all their business, and I've only been, I only said hello, and they tell me um all of their business. And that's where Andrea says my woo comes in. I be in there wooing. And yeah. And so that part, and this just makes me think about just calling all my friends and telling them to hop on my live because I could use their support because I just hopped on because my coach told me to. And it took me a minute. I wanted to go look for all this information and all of that. And I was, but then I stopped, right? And what am I saying? The Yeah, so that's probably how I get misunderstood. I'm gonna also strike out my questions so I don't lose my place because I don't want to uh cheat anybody on that. So let me know if you got questions around that, my misunderstanding, and how maybe you've experienced me and what you thought about me, right? I know that I'm very clear. I know that I'm a grown ass woman and I have no problem asking for what I want. I believe that I am supposed to have everything that God told me that I could have, anything that comes in my heart, and the vision that's been placed in it. I believe the Lord is going to make a way for me to be able to do that. So, and I show up like that. I show up like God sent me in the room. And when I'm shrinking and it looks like I'm not, believe me, I'm thinking, I'm taking it in because I love being in the room. I love learning. I love, as y'all know, if you've ever experienced me, I love asking questions. I love asking questions. And I used to think it was because I was being nosy, because I used to feel like my grandmother was like that. And I watched that. And so that was a habit I picked up. But what I really realized is it is, I'm curious. I have a heart for people just naturally. I always have. I have a knowing that God gave me. I learned that a couple of years ago from one of my spiritual counselors, that the gift of knowing. And I've read the Bible, the entire Bible, probably 5 times. I'm not going to tell you I know it because I don't. And I don't know. The Bible that is in our Western culture, I'm wrestling with it. I don't believe everything in it. And I do know you will find the longer you stay in relationship with yourself and truly get to know yourself, then you may question it too, especially women, right? Especially women, because it's got a male patriarchy focus. Like it doesn't honor who we are as women and the goddess in us, our divine essence and who we were designed to be. We are definitely, if we're tracking on that one, made in God's image, and we are the only one that He has given us the gift of creating life. The only one, right? Feminine energy, not masculine. If we're going by what goes on in those times. That's 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 what I believe. That's what I believe. And so um so maybe there can be some misunderstandings there. I'm not sure. Okay. So number 3, what's a truth about you that most people don't know? Probably that one. Oh, probably also I believe God is a woman. I don't believe God was a man. And when we say God, when we say things about God, we say him. But I also know in that Bible, they say women is wisdom was she. I agree with that. I agree with that. Um, what's the truth about you that most people don't know? Yeah, I would say I haven't. I've said it in different places and spaces, but not like not often. I would say. Let me see if there's another that might surprise people. Oh, I believe maintaining the status quo is what creates most women's pain, right? Because you showing up like I was showing up, like you don't even know who you are yet. You don't know your essence, your core of who you are. You didn't get to do that, right? Especially Miss I Got Time for Everything and everybody else. Um, and just for the record, Miss I Got Time for Everything except myself. I call your name is Miss Denise Walker. Internally in my team, when we talk about you, because we're thinking about you all the time and wanting to serve you, your name is Miss Denise Walker. So we're going to have another conversation about that. Okay. So we'll come back. That'll be a whole episode dedicated just to you. But this one is dedicated to me for you. And what brings me the most joy right now? I was just having a conversation about that today, and I put it on my to-do list. Um, the most joy. I would say the most joy is spending time with my son still. He's 33. I just got back from California a couple weeks ago. I spent 25 days in California, um, uh, being present with both my son, one of my best friends. We're just gonna call him Jay, and his family, and my little niece, his lovely daughter, and beautiful wife celebrating his birthday. He's turning 50 this year, and he got all these wild plans. And so we had to go on a hike. So it's another thing, talk about that. And then two I went to a business conference, ROI, Hello Seven, uh, hosted, and Rachel Rogers, my coach, and I'm part of her community and certified through her business certification program. And then the other part of that I spent with my son. I spent with him and his girlfriend. We got to play golf. We went and got mani pedis. These are our things that we do. And we hadn't played golf together. He just picked golf back up, and he's loving it and enjoying it. And when I flew out there, I took him some clubs and all of that from our cousin. Shout out to Harold, looking out for him, wanting to make sure that he is taken care of because Harold plays golf every day. And I just love golf. I took it up when he left and went to college, and I started realizing, okay, now I can do what I want to do. I did three things. I went and took golf lessons, I took swimming lessons, and I learned how to sew. I learned how to sew because I wanted to learn how to sew because I wanted to slow down and stop multitasking. And I wanted something that would help me do that. And I felt like sewing would do that because paying attention to detail, it's a hobby that I could focus on, and I could produce something with it. And I love it. I love it. I don't get to do it as often as I would like. But I still have my machine and all my toys. I'm a gadget girl. So I got every gadget that you probably can think of. And then I learned to swim. I had never learned to swim. I love the water, and I'm afraid of the ocean. And so I wanted that for myself. Um, and I can swim. I can't swim in the ocean, so I'm gonna go back and take more swimming lessons to get stronger to swim in the ocean because I can just swim in the pool. I'm not swimming in the ocean. I play out there, but yeah. And then I took golf lessons. I took golf lessons at the local community college. I wanted to learn, learn the foundation of it. And I was naturally good at it. I think when I learned, it messed me up because then I knew too much and I was thinking and focusing on that. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. And so, yeah, that's what brings me joy. I saw my golf community that they have a golf outing coming up on Thursday, so I put it on my calendar. And I love, 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 love to roller skate. So that's the other thing that I said, roller skate and go golf. So I got to look up the roller skate night. Um, and I'm just going to go and see what happens because I got some physical ailments going on, so I don't know what my body's going to allow. But I'm believing for, because I'm calling it in that I am healed. I am going to recover from all that's going on, and we'll share and talk about that also at another beautiful time. All right, and I will get through these in a way that is edifying. How long have I been on? Let me see. How long have we been on talking? Okay, let's see. Says I got 15 minutes if I'm keeping it to an hour, but I really didn't go live until maybe 10 or 15 minutes uh, when this started. So maybe I got 30 minutes. We'll see. And you can come back and watch this over and over again. I need to get my watch hours up. So if you're enjoying my content, please definitely subscribe, like the videos. I always like all my own stuff. I typically won't do anything that I would not ask anyone else to do. So let's get it. And I yeah, that's how I roll. And so what I'm doing, y'all. Give me a minute because I do want my people to come on and pop on because they got stories for y'all too that could be very interesting. Um, and so let me do that, share with them. We got a chat going on right now about Michael mm, Jamal Warner. Lord just hurts our heart. And yeah, and so I'm just gonna speak into the mic on that because it's typically what I do. Hey, you all, if you're not busy, I'm on my YouTube live interviewing myself. So I would love for you to come check it out and see, see what's happening and support me and keep me encouraged and help ask me any questions to keep it going. Okay, so I did that. And I'm going to also do it in my spiritual community and see what happens. Wait, I guess I do got to do it separately. Hey, y'all, I'm on my YouTube channel live interviewing myself for my own podcast episode, and I would love for you to join me if you're not busy. It's happening right now as I'm doing it. I'm letting the audience know that I'm doing it. And thank you. I love you. So there we go. So that's one bunch. And you can do the same, right? You want your people, build your squad. I have more than one squad, but these my A1s from day one, right? Angie is really my A1 from day one because she's 2 years older than me, so she's known me since I've been born. Um, but yeah, um, yeah. I didn't realize that this doing this would make me emotional, you know? But hey, I have no problem being transparent and taking my clothes off so you can get free too. It is the most amazing feeling. right? Because there's different types of freedom. And I hope you create yours, what that looks like for you. What season are you in, and what is it teaching you? Oh, wow. I didn't even look at these questions because I never even look at the questions that we put together for the guests on our show either that we're interviewing. So this is interesting. What season are you in? I am definitely in my entrepreneurial season, because being an entrepreneur and starting a business is like having a baby. And it can be the best and worst thing that ever happened to you too. I'm learning about myself even more things about myself than I that I thought I knew. And I pride myself because I go inward. I will look in there and scratch the scab like, what are you doing there? What's going on? Because I want to be the best version of me. And I needed to become that when I became Richard's mother. That was very important to me because I did not want to mess him up. So I'm in that season of layer of leveling up, right, where the Lord is pushing me to a higher level, and I feel it. I feel it all over me. And right before that happened, um, right before your breakthrough, should be looking crazy. It be looking like, Lord, I know this could not be what you had in mind for me. That's what I just have gone through. Like mental health diagnosis, PTSD, trauma stressors, anxiety, depression, then the physical health challenges, chronic pain. I have two autoimmune diseases or syndromes or deficiencies, right? One is Sjogren's syndrome. And the impact of that for me is my eyes get really dry. Other people get dry mouth, other things. This is the only one that has shown up for me. And then just when I got back from California, I had an appointment scheduled. So I have a ton of doctor's appointments, just trying to figure out what's going on. And now that I've gotten this diagnosed, I'm believing it started 10 years ago when I got married, when I relocated to Las Vegas, when I started my health journey of going vegan and eating healthier and all of that. And it probably carried on because remember, y'all, I got time for everything except myself. I was. I'm not calling myself that now because I've recovered. I'm in a new season and space where I can help those who still are. And in some ways, maybe I still am. I'm probably never going to give that up. But I also know now how to get my needs met. I know how to stop and take care of myself, give myself self-love care, which is a word that I created. And it's self-love plus self-care, self-love care, because we need both. You need to first love yourself more than anybody, because us as women have been taught someone else was going to come along and love us and make us happy and be all the things that we needed to be, right? And you found out that probably ain't true because you're responsible for your own happiness. How is somebody else going to love you better than you if you don't know how to love you? You've been just accepting the way that they love you and how they treat you. Unless, now I know this ain't everybody. You grown woman, so you ask for your needs and get your needs met. Great for you. Then I'm not talking to you. And I'm not talking about you. But maybe you recovered. And so now you in that stage. Maybe. And I love every bit of it for you. But my good sister that has still been in need of this is for you. This is absolutely for you. And and that's okay. It is okay. I need you to know that. I need you to know that You are exactly where you're supposed to be and hearing what exactly you're supposed to hear to help you get to the your next level up, right? And that next level up is you. It's all about you, boo. Absolutely. Okay? Because it don't happen overnight. So it's teaching me that I love this enough that I'm going to keep going, even through all the hard time, the struggle, the pain. I called myself healed a couple of weeks ago. I declared that. Like, like I'm not, because I was feeling sorry for myself. Oh my God, I was a hot mess. And I'm like, this is not going to be my life. I know, God, that you got a vision that I'm supposed to birth that you gave me back in 2015. So that's 10 years still in the making, and it will not leave me alone. And that vision is Midwest Way. So remember I mentioned, I had two businesses. So disruptor coaching is my purpose, is the calling that God placed on my life. But the vision that God gave me is the Midwest Way. And we have a trademark brand, ain't no way like the Midwest Way. And what that is, our vision for that is to be the heart, hands, and feet of Jesus, um, to be a bridge to connect people to random acts of love, information, and resources, one heart at a time, to help meet those immediate needs. Because I feel that there's a gap, right? And what that gap looks like is, when I was a single parent, people like sold into me in so many ways that changed my life to help me with my son. One of them was, some of them was a word, someone, someone would babysit, and opportunities to like send him to camp or be with a family, things that he would not have normally been exposed to. Those are immediate needs that make people, could change their lives, and they're one random act of love away from their life being changed for the better. And so that's what that looks like, for me. And so the vision that the Lord gave me was around the barbecue business, um, and just like every line of business for it, like everything. And but this philanthropy to it also. So Midwest Way is a social enterprise, and it's a for-profit business. We have two products that we currently sell. One is still in making, but it's, I say we are a for-profit with nonprofit tendencies. And yeah, so that's Midwest Way. I'm actively seeking and looking for funding to bring it to life. Midwest Cafe, my sandwich shop, and a multi-use space, because you never know who's out there. You got to speak into the rooms what you want to come into fruition. So hey, this is my table that I created, that the Lord gave me also to do as a strength, and to be able to share with others and have win-win. So if you are a disruptor out there, and you are fed up and no longer maintaining the status quo, so you flipping tables over, because that's what we doing over here. We flipping tables over. You are absolutely wanted. Your voice is needed in this space and on my show. I hear my voice trying to tell me we might be talking, and time to wind it down. I might have a cough drop in my bag. And yeah, the yeah. So that's the season that I'm in, of leveling up, taking me to the next level. So if you want to help me, you can cash app, you can Zelle. I never done this before, but hey, let me put it out there because I see other people doing it too. And why not? It just fell on my heart, so I'm doing that. You can cash app me, you can Zelle me, um, house, PayPal, however it is. I'll get you my links. I believe I already have one on my, disruptorcoach.com. You'll get the links if you do disrupthercoach.com. and you will see my Cash App link there. You can hit me up on my header. If you already know my phone number, my Zelle and all of that is tied to my phone number. I will get another one because I'm not giving out my personal number unless you know me personally. But I do have my business number. So you can text me and ask me for it that way, and I'll give it to you. The business line is 216-307-7527, because we need all the help and support that we can get over here to serve. All right. And y'all know that. If what I'm doing is valuable to you. Okay. And so that is my season. I apologize because my answers ain't long. So I mean it ain't short. If you come to um and that's why I like being on YouTube too. Let me just be real about that, because I don't have a time limit. Now I do have a time limit because I've got another meeting. However, um, I don't have a time limit on how long it'll take me to have this conversation with you. And if you are on my show and we're having a conversation and you got things that you want to share, because what happens when women come into this space, and men, um, the time goes by so quickly, they forget that, you know, they lose track of time. And which is beautiful, because I want to honor the space and the energy and the circle and what's being shared. They feel so relaxed and safe, that's what happens. And I love that. I love, love, love all of that. Right. Okay. Next question is, what makes you feel the most powerful? I'm going to answer all of these questions because it's answering who is Selena. Now, on the other ones, I may not ask all of those. I'll probably just ask one until we run out of time, until I got to go to the next meeting. What makes you feel the most powerful? What makes me feel the most powerful is what I'm doing right now, is having deep conversations. Um, I just got goosebumps. Lord Jesus. Because I know this is what God put me on this earth to do. I know that without a doubt in my mind. And I know so many people don't know their own dreams, their own desires, their own heart, because so many things in life have got so heavy that it's weighed them down, especially you, Miss Denise. Especially you, Miss I Got Time for Everything Except Myself. Because I was there. Beyonce has this song in Fighting Temptations where she says, sometimes the world, sometimes she thought she was on top of the world, and sometimes the world was on top of her. I love that song, one of my favorites, but I feel that line. Sometimes it feels like I'm on top of the world. Sometimes it feels like the world's on top of me. That's not exactly how the rhythm of it goes, but you get the gist, right? and and I know I'm called to do this work, transformational work. I mentioned it earlier in the conversation. um I'm a transformational teacher. I identify as a teacher, and I know how transformational the work that I'm doing is. I've seen it in my clients. I've seen it in the people that I meet in bathrooms, and in minutes they have a transformation. I've seen it so many times where people don't know me. I was at ROI at the conference, and I was just out in the foyer way, like when you're in the conference and you come out into the big hallway. I can't think of what that's called at the moment. I can't recall it. Um, and that will come. Hopefully I'll remember to share that with you. The conversation that Mother Joy said about me, kept saying that I can't remember. She told me to reframe it and say I can't recall. Because if I keep saying that, then it's really going to be true. And now that I'm practicing that reframe, things come back to me. And so just bless me. But so that's for you too. Right? If I'm doing it, I want you to try it and practice it. Because all of life is a practice. Ain't none of us been here before. We don't know. So just practice. Practice anything you desire and that you want to do. Okay. Um, and so in doing what I am called to do and what I want to do, great God, right? Yeah. That's when I feel most powerful. I feel most powerful when a woman says to me, "You are an answer to a prayer I didn't even know I needed to pray." My first paid uh, life coaching client, that's in her testimonial. It brings me to my knees every time I hear it, every time I read it, every time I say it. And then I just had a woman, Yvonne, last week. You'll see her. She agreed to be coached so that I could get more data around who you are, right? I know you as me, but I also know that there's multiple versions of you. There's the entrepreneur, there's the overgiver, right? There's so many more, right? And so I'm collecting that so that I can build and create the spaces for you to feel safe, for you to come back to your true essence. A lot of people say come back home to yourself, if that works for you also. But I want you to, at your core, I want you to know that you know that you know who you are and never ever forget. I have a reminder. I went through Queen Afua's Sacred Woman program, rites of passage, just for that reason, so that I could never forget. And the ring was a plus because she had she had custom design rings that you could do, and I wanted that. So this is an 18 karat gold, and it's got the onks on it. It's got a baptismal bowl. It's got 4 gems on it. These are real gems. Mine, amethyst. There's a funny story about that because my birthstone is really is it aquamarine, and my whole life I thought it was amethyst. And then my mother's is diamond. My son, I think that's garnet. He's a his birthday is in April. He's a Taurus. I think that's what they're both stone color. And then my grandmother is sapphire. Her birthday is August 26th. So that's 4 generations. And yeah, and she's no longer with us. This is my granny. That's my granny. That's my girl. Even though, woo, it was real out here. Um, and that's my granny. And I wasn't allowed to call her grandma. I called her ma. If I said anything other than that, we were gonna have some problems. She was gonna move some furniture in my raw hair voice. Okay. So I would say that's what makes me feel most powerful when I am able to help someone see themselves and use their power and be themselves and live their own life and create their own freedom and not be oppressed. That's when I feel most powerful. Because what I found, the women that I serve, once they get that, their life has changed beyond measure. Miss Yvonne said she had been praying um, for some help, and and you'll hear it in the recording. I may not have it exactly right, and she believes that I was the answer to that prayer. What is going on? Like that's nobody but God. And I'm here for stepping up in obedience because I know the power and what that looks like when it happens. When God calls me to do something, when I hear the voice, because I remember when the voice, my spirit wasn't talking to me because I wasn't listening like I was supposed to be. And that is so over. That is so over. I'm also sharing this in my Bible study group. We've been together 17 years, I think. We're called Exhort. Women of Exhort. Yes. Oh, what does freedom look like to you right now? freedom looks like to me right now is being able to do whatever I desire. Whatever God placed on my heart, believing that God is going to make room and make a way for that to happen. And that has been happening. I actually said that to my mother the other day, that I don't operate in scarcity because everything that I have desired to do, I've been able to do. And it doesn't always require money. I want to travel the world. I've been traveling the world. I opened the year up in Ghana. I didn't know that was going to happen, but when the Lord put it on my heart, boom, there. I'm getting ready to leave for Panama in August, and be gone for I think 11 days. I also, do I got something going on at the end of the year? I'm going back to California, obviously in December. Um, and I get to be in places and spaces that people look like me, and that I truly want to be in, and not because I have to. I'm honored and blessed right now that the Lord is seeing fit that I don't have to report into somebody's job, because nothing about working in some of these spaces have served me. They've actually they've contributed to my chronic pain and stress, anxiety, and depression. Um, and so the Lord took me out of that. If you'd have told me that was on my bingo card, no, I thought I would be working for a while until I could get to the position to bring Midwest Ways vision to life. I didn't even know disruptor coaching was on the bingo card, but God knew. And so sometimes you got to trust the path, and that's something at its core that I work on for me and for Miss I Got Time for everything else except myself, because I'm talking so fast my thought left, but my thought is going to come back around that. Because you get to decide and define what freedom looks like for you. It does not necessarily look like the same for everybody else. You are uniquely and wonderfully made, and so you don't have to show up any other kind of way other than that. Your full essence and divine self. That's the only way that people you're called to serve can find you. It took me a minute to get there too. It took me a minute to get there too. But once you have it and you know it and you find it, you will never want to relinquish it again. You will be able to recognize when the enemy is trying to play these tricks on you. And there's more than one enemy and there's more than one spirit. Because let me tell you, when I got married, I'm certain that the spirit was moving. It's just which one. But it was for me. I wouldn't have never found myself. Sometimes you got to be lost. Sometimes you got to lose. Sometimes you got to be in a fight. Sometimes you got to be near death to get your whole life together. Because if that didn't happen to you, which by the way was really happening for you, you probably wouldn't be on the path you're on now to your freedom, to your greatness, to your calling, to your divine self, and really like knowing who you are and becoming who you are and being who you are. That's what's going on with so many people walking around with these masks and can't be themselves. That's why the world crazy. Because in my heart, when I was growing up, doing all of that fighting and everything, I didn't really want to do all that. But I felt like I needed to and I had to. I felt like I was different from my entire family. We rough and tough. I'm the firstborn girl, grandchild. Um, I got all brothers. Like, come on. It's a lot. And yeah, and that's why I'm a fighter, right? All my uncles. So yeah, and but I'm really kind. But I'm also candid. And maybe that's one of the misunderstandings, because when I'm candid, people believe that maybe I'm not being nice. Um, but I do my best to leave in love, because sometimes I didn't. I would cut you up with some words for show, and I love to curse or cuss. Hey, my whole framework, it's got a curse word in it, but it's for your good. Because I I had a conversation with my God. You already know that I'm thinking it, so I might as well just say it. Because why am I not saying it? I'm not pretending that I don't cuss. And you know you cuss too. You know you say to yourself, I got to get my shit together. I got to get myself together. I got to get this together. But when you say shit, you feel it. Let me tell you what the shit that I'm talking about is, just so we clear on what that is for all the people that's new to the channel. The S in it stands for self-love care. The H stands for healing, right? Because you've been walking around holding a lot. And that don't always mean that something like bad or traumatic happened to you, but you need to heal from whatever is going on in your heart, in your mind, right? Emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, all of it, right? So healing is more than just one area. Maybe you bad with money and you want to improve. So healing just helps you get where you want to be, because again, you get to decide that, right? And the I is identity. Who are you, darling, when you're not wearing the mask? Who are you when you're not showing up in all of them places? Who are you when you try to rest and you feel like you got to keep producing, right? Who are you at your essence? Who were you really designed to be? Who are you suppressing so that you can show up in all these places that you really don't even want to be in? You volunteer for me, you don't know why. I did that. I did that. And when I started realizing that, it's like, do I want to do that? Because guess what? You have freedom of choice. You get to decide. That is your power. And every time that you don't exercise it, it weakens, it shrinks you, it makes you disappear. You can be seen as much as you want by using your power, using your voice, using your power to make the decisions and choices that are right for you. I know that to be true. I've seen the power of it, doing it for myself. That's why I'm here today. That's why I'm here today, to be able to help teach you how to fish. Real talk. Okay. Let's see how much further we get, because we got 15 minutes. What does freedom look like to you right now? I feel like we had a good talk about that. All right. What's a decision that I made that completely changed my life? Oh, Lord. To take on and invest in myself and get my very first life coach, because I was lost. I did not know myself. I didn't know my dreams. I didn't remember anything about me. I was married. I was Selena Whitmore, and I didn't even know her. I couldn't identify with her. I couldn't anything. I didn't know who I was. Selena Kelly, on the other hand, I know her. I know me. And I also know there are parts of me that I don't know yet, that I haven't met yet. I am the most valuable thing, and losing myself and allowing myself to be lost. I believe that's what hell feels like. I really do. Lack of vision, lack of desire. Like I was in a black hole, and it looked dark because I couldn't even hear God's voice anymore, that small whisper. I created a war room. Some days it was the war room, some days it was the prayer room, because I was in spiritual warfare. I know that without a doubt, because because it revealed this, the demonic presence revealed itself to me when I declared no fucking more. And it was no longer staying in my home. It revealed itself. And that's a whole another level of conversation that job might not be ready for yet. But we'll see when the divine time is right. So that would be the decision to get to invest in myself and get my first life coach. And I've been investing in myself ever since, because I've invested in everything and everybody, and I mean everything that you can think of. I have helped people build their own businesses. um, I helped a family franchise their business. I have worked on jobs for 25 years, helping those people that own those businesses build their business and do a really good job, right? Because, hey, I like being an A student, high achieving. Like, used to pride myself on being the smartest person in the room, whatever that means, right? Nobody knows everything, only the all-knowing. So that's kind of crazy to me. If that's what you believe, more power to you, boo. Who or what gave you permission to be this version of you? I did. I declared that. I declared that. No one else, because I get to decide. I don't, I, Mother Joy uses a term, don't put no clothes on me that I don't want to wear. I don't put no clothes on that I don't want to wear. And I don't want you to put any clothes on that you don't want to wear either. That's why I give you permission to get naked. And sometimes we need permission, right? Let me see. Let me see a time where I felt like somebody gave me permission. Rachel does that. She gives a lot of us permission. I feel that Rachel was probably one. Um, Probably like all of my coaches. Yaya, definitely. Like definitely. That was a divine encounter. And Arlen Hamilton is another one of my mentors. Arlen gives permission. What I loved about Arlen, when I saw her for the first time at ROI, the very first ROI, and she came in the room. She had jeans on, she had a hoodie on, she had her sneakers on, and I said to myself, "Who is that? Who is that?" And people move stuff out the way for her too, and she don't move like that. However, she showed up the way I like to show up. I'm gonna be in a hoodie. I'm probably gonna be in a t-shirt. I'm probably gonna have jeans or short or something of that nature. I like to be comfortable. I do not like to get dressed up to go sit in nobody's chair. That is just not who I am. I think it's the most boring, uncomfortable thing in the world to do. I do it for folks I love, but it ain't something that I love doing. I do not like getting dressed up. Um, so I love having a job which really is not a job. It's work. It's a divine assignment. When you're in your work and you're tied to your work, it does not feel like a job. I think a job is the thing that feels heavy. Work does not feel heavy. Not your work that you're called to do. I'm over here running my mouth. Let me see who's in the building, because Spirit just said, go see where the people at. How long do you go all in on an entrepreneurial project before deciding if you should move on from it? I think I just answered that question for you, but feel free to let me know if that didn't fully answer it. Because if you're looking for something concrete, it really depends on you. Um, Chrysalis, I hope I'm saying your name 369 correctly. And you can tell it to me phonetically. Here's my spiritual mother, Edith. Hi. She got the prayer hands up. She know me well. She been rocking with me for a long time on my spiritual journey. So I know she be shaking her head sometime. But in love, she allows me to be myself. And I love everything about her for it, and the way that she showed up too. She's definitely was on my bingo card. I needed her. She was another lifeline. Lord, don't let me get in here preaching. Um, or rather teaching. I'm not a preacher. I am definitely a teacher. Um, so to answer that question, it really depends. It depends on if it's your work and your heart is in it. Only you know that answer. I have some things, I get it, you'll get in it because all of it's data. It's giving you information. It may not be giving you the information that you wanted, but it's getting you closer to get to where you really want and desire. Because now you'll be like, I tried that, that ain't for me. A quick story about that. I when my husband died, I knew I couldn't go back to the job I had. It was working in a nursing home, doing housekeeping. That was not my ministry, for one thing. I don't like cooking and cleaning and doing any of that. I pay people. I will gladly help support somebody else's work that they love and enjoy in doing it. However, I knew that I needed to do something because my husband didn't want me working where I was working at the time. And so um I couldn't go back there though. When I tried going back there, and it was for a retirement community. And so those elderly people kept walking up to me and saying, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I would get so mad because my husband died. He was, "Hey, Chef Roxy." Okay, girl, you got new names. He he was only 24 when he died. No, he was 25, right before his 26th birthday. I was 23, and it was right before my 24th birthday. And so to see all of these elderly people saying that to me, I was mad. I was mad as hell. And so I realized that I couldn't stay there and work there. And so my father-in-law got me a job at he got me a job in was it Head Start? It was a type of daycare ministry. I can't remember. It was, but it's here locally, and it was working with the little people, and which was cool. They didn't necessarily bother me, but I knew I wasn't trying to be nobody's mother, and we had been trying to have our own baby. That's another time too. When he died, I thought I was pregnant, so that was a lot too. But I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and I realized though um, that little people are for people with that ministry that is designed to teach. So it gave me information that that's not what I want to do and be doing, right? So I said this before earlier, life is an experiment. And look at it like that, because we haven't been here before. It's going to help you get closer to what you do and don't want. You may be putting more faith an expectation in something that might be creating something else that shows up that you don't desire. I would say allow yourself to be in it and not and remove the expectation because and if there are any shoulds because that is what is creating that, you know, that's what I would say. Hi there, Chan Lee. She said, what's the hardest thing about having chronic health issues that most people don't understand? I liken it to invisible scars because most people can't see it. And I believe that most people believe for you to be in pain, that it's got to be some kind of physical way to tell, like they got to see it. Most people only believe what they see. And there is so many things that are happening in the unseen. Unseen is where you build your confidence and your strength. Unseen is where you're praying, right? You're in pain, all of the things. So much is happening in the unseen. And more people have to put their faith on it. because that's what gets you through in the belief. I was teaching about that early. I'm sorry you missed it, but ask me if you got any other questions and let me know if I'm hitting on it, right? Um, yeah, that's the teacher in me coming out. So maybe my teachers sometimes sound like preaching. All right. Let me go see what else questions that I have. I'm gonna keep it rocking. I appreciate these questions. I appreciate you showing up here in this space. Let me tell you what else, because I get to interview myself, y'all. It took me a minute to answer the first question at that, because it asked me how do I show up in the world, and that's layered. So I'm on question number 8. Now question 9. I I was in the what gave me permission. That's question 9. So actually I'm on question number 10 now. And we might stop at 10 because it's getting late and my team is waiting for me to come show up. What's one thing you no longer apologize for? Whew, these are some good questions. Dang. My ChatGPT knows me well. What's one thing I no longer provide? I don't apologize if I don't want to apologize, quite honestly. Um, I would say that is one. And I don't apologize for being me. I don't apologize for cussing. I don't apologize for showing up authentically. I don't apologize for being a warrior, WARRIOR, a warrior in spirit, a warrior in truth, a warrior in injustice. Like I no, you can we can you can get some of these hands if somebody is being mistreated, not on my watch. I don't want to mistreat anybody, and I'm not going to allow anybody else to mistreat anybody. I don't apologize for that. I don't apologize for what I desire and what I want because the Lord placed it in my heart, so I know that I could have it. I don't desire for wanting to be a apologize for wanting to be a billionaire. When you ask me who I am and how I'm showing up, I'm billionaire because God gave me a big billionaire, trillionaire vision, and I got people to help, right? And I don't apologize the fact that I care about people and that the Lord puts them on my mind all the time, especially Miss I got time for everything except myself. I don't apologize for that. People would I tried to just go to business route and just focus on people that wanted to do business because they will tell you a good coach will sell you what you want and give you what you need. I'm going to do both. I'm going to give you the truth, what you need. And if you still feel like I want this, you can have that too. But let's do the win-win and not make this short-term fix. That's why things ain't working. That's why you've been in these programs and places and spaces and showing up and it's not working. Because you looking for the feeling of what you really want, and that ain't how you gonna get it. You got this emptiness and this hole inside because God told you to do something and you didn't let everybody else tell you something else. So you're wrestling with yourself. I've been there. I've been there out of fear, out of whatever it looks like. And it ain't no shame over here. None, none at all. All love, but real love. Because real love is going to correct you, it's going to nurture you, it's going to support you, it's going to push you and stretch you, and you can still come back home anytime, even if we fell out. The door gonna always be open, right? Um, my pastor, when I really rededicated my life to my God and I got real about it, taught me a practice, keeping my hands um, keeping my hands open so that I could equally give and receive. So a warm heart. That is my posture at all times. That is who I am. That is another way that I show up so that I can equally give and receive. Because I want everything that I'm meant to have, and I want to give everything I'm supposed to give. I like making exchanges. I love it. Driving right now, but hope this is re-recorded so I can learn more about your pain journey. Absolutely. I didn't really go in depth in it, but I have a 7-part series coming up, my 25 days in California journey, part of it with the ROI, and one of them is actually unpacking my health journey in that series. So that's coming up, but absolutely. And Chandler, we can talk about it, honey. You know you overdue from coming on the show. So I'm waiting to get see your name on the schedule. Let's do it, baby. And thank you for being here. Anyone else got any questions? I appreciate everyone that showed up here. I My team know I'm running late. I want to close out at least this one section. Um this last question, it was 11 of them on who is Selena Kelly, right? What message would I give to the woman who's watching this and still putting everyone else first? This is your season. This is your time. You are not late. You are right where you're supposed to be. You are not behind. I felt all of that. You didn't miss your chance. Um, if God put a vision in you and you accepted the vision that God gave you and the desires of your heart, then you have to have faith that God is this comes from my spiritual mother Edith. She said, I believe that God is working it out on my behalf. And I believe that God is working it out on your behalf. It may not look like what you had in your mind. And if you're spiritual or religious or however you identify in any way, you know that when the Lord shows up, when God shows up, that it don't look like what you had in mind. Because that's your vision and your view, but that's not the vision and the view that God got for you. It's different. And so it's shaping you, that it's really happening for you to get you where you are meant to be. But if you fixate on what the world has and how everyone else is doing it, first of all, you may not be showing up as who God called you to be. So he can't bless you because you ain't doing what he told you to do. And if I had a coin for the number of people that when they got their breakthrough, it and they realize they already know what they're supposed to be doing and they're not doing it, right? I say that the message is you already know what God told you to do. You let other things quiet that voice and be louder than that voice. The voice that knows you, hears you, knows your wants and desires, and wants you to have them, and is saying to you that the way to them is this way, and you're allowing the world let you go left. So I'm gonna give you one assignment if you accept this assignment. The assignment is to use your power and practice saying no. Period. That's it. Just no, period, because it's a complete sentence. Oh, I need you to come help me do this and that. If you don't want to, then the answer is no. And you don't have to explain. You don't have to do any of that. But I know you might feel like you need to explain. So after you start practicing it enough, you'll realize you'll feel your power. You'll feel your power. It'll well up from your core. You will feel like, oh man, I didn't know I could do that. If I had, I would be loaded if I got paid for every time the women that use this practice, like Because we laid it down. You didn't know that you had your power. It could be a number of reasons, right? You started disappearing for whatever reason. No shade, no shame, but you're here now. So you can get and have everything that God told you you can have and you can get, because that's who placed it there. Everything came after that. Probably ain't it. Probably ain't God. That's all I'm saying. And the more you free up your energy to be inward for you, you will hear that. You will recognize that. You will know that. You will feel that. Because those are the things that you want and desire. You got to quit letting the world tell you what that needs to be, because they can't see it and hear it and know it. God placed that in your heart. It ain't for them, it's for you. But showing up and doing everything for everybody else is not what God called you to do. That would be being busy. People will say that. I ain't seen nowhere where God told me to be busy. Nowhere. The world say that. Be productive, and that produces and all that. Mm-mm. On the seventh day, the Lord rested, and people can't even rest. You ain't resting. You ain't rested in a long time. Resting feels different. I went on a 25-day vacation to California, and I didn't get no rest. None. So stay tuned for that series, because it's called Reflections and Reckonings, because it was both. It was both. It was something else. So that is the first part. So this is going to turn into a series. This is part one of the series, and we just going to walk through getting to know me. I didn't know that that was going to happen, but this is how it's shaping out, right? You just go with the flow, and what is put on your heart at the time, as long as you know it's your spirit talking to you and not someone else, trust it. When you stop trusting yourself, the enemy is won. The enemy is won, and we ain't giving up. Not on my watch. You're not giving up. I'm not allowing you to give up on yourself in that way. Okay. So that's how we're doing it. This is part one. Thank you for those that showed up. Thank you for your questions. Tell everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with part two, to answer those questions. Part two is taking me from 12 to 19. And yeah, these are deeper questions. My personal story questions. Oh, Lord, I got more. In the meantime and in between time, what I would like from you, if you enjoyed this part one series, I would love for you to click subscribe, like the video, share the video, right? Because we got to get the word out. We got folks to help serve. Miss Denise, Miss I got time for everything except myself. Maybe it's you. You know who need this. Chanley, I love you, sweetie. I appreciate that this was helpful for you. Thank you for sharing that. Do me a favor, if you all are still here, what were some of your key takeaways that I said that help you, so we can help somebody else, right? So that they'll know to come back and listen to this as well, because what was going on over there. Help me share that. I appreciate you all showing up. And if you're listening to it on the replay, this still stands. I need you to call her in, call her over, share with her, drop it in her DMs, in the group chat. Miss, I got time for everything except for myself. Let's get that word out and share that with her. Absolutely. This is part one. Let me tell you how many parts it may be. I might be able to give you that. And so part one, part two, part three. This might be three parts. We may be able to get this knocked out in three parts. So this is a three-part series, okay? So for the next 3 days, this is what the conversation is going to be. Um, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so grateful that you were here with me. I feel honored that you shared your time with me because I know how valuable it is. Absolutely. Um, until next time, until tomorrow, because I'll be back, Lord willing. Um, I want you to take good care of you. Take good care of you. Take good care of you. What does that look like for you? What is taking care of you? I will share this nugget with you before I go. Saturday and Sunday, and I think I might have shared it earlier. So if I'm repeating myself, then that means it's important. My pastor in Vegas, Pastor Andre, shout out, he used to say, write this down, it'll change your life. And I decided, I woke up Sunday morning, and I shared a little bit of this story. I decided, one, I was going to get all of the weight and clean up my bedroom and get the weight off because sometimes that's what's going on. You got so you're living in clutter, you can't think. And I decided I was going to take a bath. Saturdays are my Sabbath. It's my day of doing nothing, like resting my mind, resting my heart, and doing all the things that I desire. So it is my day of self-love, is what I call it. And in my framework, self-love care is the S in S.H.I.T. I think I probably didn't touch on T. I'll have to come back and finish that. T is time freedom, right? Your time in number of ways in that, just if you're listening and you caught that I missed it. It's time freedom, and you get to decide how you spend your time, what you do with your time. It could be your energy. Time is the real currency, right? You can't get time back. Time is a non-renewable currency. It's so valuable. So why waste your time on the things that you don't want to do? You know what that looks like. You know what that produced. That's maintaining the status quo. That's why we're disruptive over here, right? Because we're getting ready to break the mold, get out the rat race, all of the things. Okay. And I decided Sundays would be my self-care day. That is the day that I do all the things that I need to show up fully the rest of the week, take my bath, do my laundry, mani pedi, maybe prepare my meals. It's everything that I need to do for me that I've been doing for everyone else or helping them do. My self-care, care, take care of me because I'm responsible for my care and my well-being, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, right? Financially. So it could be managing your finances, whatever. I deserve more than one day. I'm taking two. Wow. Because I get to decide, and so do you. Okay. So that's what I mean by when I say take good care of you. I mean, give yourself self-love care. So if you need permission and you haven't started yet, start today. Start right now. Get out a pencil and paper and just write how you want to feel, how you want things to feel, because that is what folks are really going for. It's not the physical and the tangible. It's in the unseen. It's the unseen. And only you know that. Nobody can tell you. All right? That's my time. I absolutely love you. And there's not one doggone thing that you can do about it. And I am grateful that God placed on my heart to love. I tell people I love them because I do. I know I do. That's what makes me show up out of love. I show up out of love. Even in that marriage, I showed up out of love so I could walk away with no regrets. I love on people. That's the God gave me a heart for that. I love you real good, real strong, real hard, all of those things, because sometimes we need the soft and we need the hard. I got a cousin. Okay, and I'm gonna go because I got stories that come. It's oozing out now that I done showed up, right? She would call sometimes, and I figure if you calling me, you want the truth. You came to get the truth. So I'm gonna tell you the truth. Sometimes it's soft, sometimes it ain't. And she was like, "You be kind of hard sometimes." Oh, I said, okay. I said, well, when you call, will you tell me if you need me to be hard or if you need me to be soft? Because I'm not really hard, but it probably feels hard to her, right? Because it's hard truth, hard to hear, right? So if I need to be nurturing, motherly, warm energy, cheerleader, Selena, I show up as a cheerleader too. That's the other word that sometimes I hear. I got you. I got you, boo. I got you. So that's my time. I'm Selena, your transformational teacher. I look forward to sharing uh, more teachings with you tomorrow. Like, share, subscribe. And if you really want to know more and go a little bit deeper and you've got questions, schedule a power and presence preview call with me. Um, what I need from you in that, if you are so inclined, it helps. I coach you for 15 minutes, and if you need it, we come help you get a little bit of clarity, and it can happen in 15 minutes. And if you're my ideal client, if you are absolutely, miss, I got time for everything except myself, it gives me client data research. Now, when you join me, we're also going to ask you to sign an agreement, right? So that everybody's on the same page and clear. These conversations do get recorded, um, and we can have a conversation about how it's used. My agreement tells you how we intend to use it, and then if there's any concern with what's in the agreement, then we can talk about it. Absolutely. So, yeah, but book that. It's a free call. I need to have more conversations so that I can help Miss Denise, and Miss, I got time for everything except myself, right? So please share. And I look forward to seeing you in my circle tomorrow. This is the Get Your Shit Together Circle, live and in full bloom. So till tomorrow and every day after that, take good care of you. Gotta find a button, y'all. Okay.